The second episode of the year has got me really, really, really excited. So much to talk about in the sports world. Greetings, everyone. My name is Jeff Long. Welcome back to another episode of the Death, Taxes, and Sports podcast. I'm here with my other esteemed colleague, Mr. Ben Holloway. Gary Johnson will be waking up from his nap at some point. We don't know when, but Gary Legend will be joining everyone, and we will be asking about his recent television appearance because I'm really curious about that. But Ben, how are you feeling, buddy?
Hey man, life goes on. Cowboys got their asses whooped, but I go to work the next day. It's okay. We're all right.
Yeah, and
We're good. We're good.
yeah, and I just got to ask you, man. We saw the news. Mike McCarthy's keeping his job. Your
Oh,
thoughts?
I just no. I when you sent that text message, I thought you were joking. But apparently it's reality. So Jerry Jones is just happy with being the most valued franchise in the entire world. So
Yeah,
his nonsense about I want to win a ring desperately, which he's said for the last couple of years, actions don't prove it. It's just
uh,
I mean the fact that Rodgers only has one ring is on Rodgers, but it's also like McCarthy was the coach, so it's got to be on both of them that he only has
yeah,
one ring. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I
that's where
mean,
that's where
like,
I'm at with that. But I got a little something for our first segment, so I'm kind of holding back a little bit.
okay, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt. And I just think, like, for me, I mean, I think you and I, we talked about it during the game. I mean, or even after the game, you're the number two seed. You have 16 games, a 16-game home winning streak dating back to week two of the 2022 season, and then you lose to the seventh seed. I think it really just kind of comes down to coaching. And like I said, who did you trust more in playoff football, Matt LaFleur or Mike McCarthy? I
And
think we
and the
both
other
agree.
thing too, the playoff struggles with Dallas with McCarthy, the one consistent has been starting slow. And you'll hear from any teams has a
And
lot to do with they've started slow in all their playoff losses. They've started slow, and the same thing happened Sunday. So
I almost feel like he wants to play it too safe. But anywho, we could talk enough. Well, we could sit here and talk about that. But I didn't say what we were going to talk about today, and I thought you the first segment. So tonight we're going to be discussing obviously the NFL wildcard weekend, ranking the best head coaching openings, maybe 1 to 5, 1 to 3, and then as well as continuing our new battles segment. But first, let me throw it to you, sir, in the first segment. One takeaway from the NFL wildcard weekend. If you have two, feel free to share, sir. It's just you and I right now in this dance.
so I got we're gonna quote the late great Dennis Green legally. They are who they thought they were. Well, the entire season, the Miami Dolphins and the Dallas Cowboys were frauds, beat up on a bunch of crap teams and barely beat anybody good. Dallas beat the Lions. Thank you to the refs. I mean, the Lions also outplayed us most of that game, regardless of that ref controversy at the end. They beat the Eagles. Okay, that was at home. Basically, everybody beat the Eagles. So, like, Dallas beat pretty much nobody, and the Dolphins beat Dallas by 2 points. And other than that, both teams beat absolutely nobody. So over 17 games, they showed us against the bad teams, not only we're going to beat them, we're going to destroy them. And based upon the fact that we're destroying them, people are going to talk about us a certain way, hype us up, hype us up. And then every time we face a good team, mostly, let's fall flat on our face. And and to be fair, the Dolphins had a lot of injuries, but also to be completely honest, I never like if the Dolphins were like fully healthy, you go from 80-degree weather to wind chill of -25, like they're not gonna win that game. Like it's just not gonna happen, regardless of health. And they got their butts whooped. So I think that the Dolphins and the Cowboys, I'll give you a bonus, and I might be stealing you one from you, but CJ Stroud, man, he's for real. He's for real. And CJ Stroud, his last year at Ohio State, they arguably should have won a championship. He outplayed the guy from Georgia, led them down,
Clemson.
led them down to get a field goal to win that game, and nothing. So CJ Stroud played amazing his last college game. played amazing his first playoff game. So there you go. Have at it, kid.
Yeah, honestly, like I'm going to say the takeaway for me is getting back to that Green Bay Dallas game. Like we had said that this Dallas game could have been a trap me game. A lot of people thought I was crazy in the Twitter sphere. I said, did I think Dallas was going to? I tweeted very specifically. Did I think Green Bay was going to win this game? No, Dallas should win this game. But at the end of the day, I'm surprised at the beatdown that the Green Bay Packers put on the Dallas Cowboys.
It's like they were already looking ahead to the second home game. You don't get the damn second home game if you don't win the first one.
And like for me, like that's what kills me. It's like, how can you justify bringing back Mike McCarthy? And I'm not trying to. I know there's a lot of other football teams. I know there was a lot of other games, but like there was no reason why he should even came back out at halftime. This team was underprepared, and they just got dominated by a team that was not better than them. Dallas is a better team, pound for pound, than the Green Bay Packers. Okay, like let's just cut all that noise out. The fact that they were able to put up 48 points on that team, the type of swagger and confidence that Jordan Love walked in there and just beat the snot out of you and ended your 16-game home streak. I'm just surprised at the amount of points that Green Bay was able to put on Dallas.
The defense gave up 6 touchdowns. Dallas's defense. The guy missed an extra point, but 42, 41, I don't know, whatever. 41 points was allowed by the Dallas defense. One was a pick 6. But still, the defense who's top 5 allows 41 points.
And I'm gonna harp on one more. Then I'm gonna harp on one more takeaway. It was a result of the Browns losing the game. The Browns had a hell of a season. I think Stefanski should definitely get serious consideration for Coach of the Year. If not, should win it. There's some other coaches that are just deserving, but the way that they just showed up in Houston and just lost like that, but not just that, but the fact that they fired all of their coaches, essentially the whole entire coaching staff, and their offensive coordinator and the quarterbacks coach. That quarterbacks coach who worked with 4 different quarterbacks, they still won 11 games and still made it to the playoffs. But you still justify that by them firing the coaches that helped ride the ship after they're losing Nick Chubb and losing all this talent. Like that move did not make any sense to me. So I guess you could say it is it's not necessarily the wildcard weekend, but because of them losing, I think it is it attributed to them losing their jobs.
Yeah, for sure. And what people, some people may not. I mean, anyways, let me backtrack. Coach of the Year in the NFL is based on the regular season. The votes are already in. Playoff. Kevin Stefanski for all of the injuries: quarterback, running back, offensive line, defensive line. Stefanski, to me, it should be the Coach of the Year. I think he will be because that playoff.
I hear you. Hey, all good facts. But let's kind of get this thing here. I really want to get to the top 3 current head coaching openings because I think that this is going to be a pretty interesting rankings and kind of see where we're going. And I kind of
I wonder where the similarities and differences. I want you to go first.
Yeah. Like the top job that I'm going to say, if they can get a quarterback and in that division, if they can get Justin Fields, I'm going to go the Atlanta Falcons as the number 1 job because here's why. We talked about it. Again, it's all dependent on them getting a legitimate quarterback. But when you look on the outside, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith is not a scrub. Then you had Cordell, then you have Patterson, then you have Tyler Algier, who had 1,000 yards the prior year.
Bijan.
Yeah, and then Bijan, all those weapons, and then we talked about the 60 to 80 million that they spent last season on this defense. Like to me, that division is very winnable. Number 2, man, this one was really tough, but I'm going to go the Seattle Seahawks, and I'm going to go Seattle not because of recency bias or anything like that, but I think that what they have there is a stable core of young talent. They have a good foundation from leadership. They just need to continue to improve that defense. Geno Smith, I still think, is good enough to be a bridge quarterback should you decide to draft one and sit one for a year. But you still look at all the running backs that they have: Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet. And then you got Smith Njogba, who has been improving, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I mean, that's a team that's up and coming, and I think they can really turn things around. And I'm only going to do top three. And then I'm going to say this number three was a very, very tough one. It was between the Chargers and the Raiders, but I'm going to go the Raiders over the Chargers because I feel the Raiders are willing to at least spend a little bit of money on top talent versus the Chargers. That owner is paying rent to the Rams, which is just weird to me. And then they don't pay for head coaches, and they don't really pay for really top talent outside the quarterback. So those are going to be my top three. I love what the Raiders are doing, and especially if they keep Pierce. So what say you?
All right, so you got Atlanta, one, most desirable head coaching position. You got you got Seattle, two, and you got the Raiders, three. Okay, perfect. So there's similarities, there's differences. So I actually have Seattle, one. Okay. And it has to do with they draft well. Really, really, really well. The Russell Wilson trade, which we know was a heist, but their draft picks that they used, like they got dudes, man, like starters who are good. Like they draft really well, and their home field advantage is a real thing. Like having ownership and executives to get the right players, and then having that home field advantage is real. And you already named some of the players. You got DK Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Kenneth Walker, the other running back Charbonnet. Like you got some talent on defense. I know Bobby Wagner was great, but it's one of those that like sometimes, even though numbers don't lie, they can be misleading. Like Bobby Wagner had a lot of tackles, has a lot, but he's just not that good anymore. There's a reason
he's a leader.
His leadership qualities can't be denied. Not at all. So I got Seattle because they know how to draft, they know how to get players, and their home field. And Geno Smith, he's good. And then clearly they can build another quarterback for the future. So I got Seattle, one. Chargers for me, two. And it's tough because the other thing is it's like you might lose Austin Eckler and you might lose Keenan Allen. And you might not lose both, but you're probably going to lose one of them. And then you got Mike Williams, who is always hurt, coming off a serious injury, torn ACL. Their defense has a lot of big names, but always underperforms. And you have absolutely no home field. None. Every time the Chargers have a home game, no matter who the other team is. It doesn't have to be a big name like Cowboys, Packers. Yeah, go for it.
Let me real quick about Chargers. Should they have left San Diego or should they have stayed? I think they should have stayed. They had a decent market in San Diego. LA wasn't the best move, in my opinion.
See, owners get greedy, man. They get greedy and they chase money because billions of dollars is not good enough for them. Like, they get greedy, man. That, like, when you think about a team moving to another city, like, almost all the time, it doesn't make any sense. Like, take the Rams. St. Louis Rams, like, they had a legit fan base. They had good home field advantage. Like that shouldn't have never happened. You take the, Seattle Supersonics. Now Oklahoma City. Seattle was an amazing city. They had great home field advantage.
Great city.
And then to your point, you got the Chargers, who had a good fan base, they had home field advantage, like in San Diego. Now they're in LA. The common thing to me is the owners just want more money. That's all it is. They're already. It's like they just get greedy and there's never enough money. And this city's gonna give me more money to get a stadium here. Like that's what it comes down to. And ultimately, to me, it ends up hurting the team most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And it's like you're chasing so much money. You're already freaking filthy rich, but they just get greedy and greedy and greedy. So yeah.
That's all it comes down to. But anywho, your number three. I just had to throw that question because it just kind of came up. But what's your last one?
No, you're good, man. You're good. And my last one
Finish your
is
whole
gonna be,
list.
yeah, my last one's Atlanta because, like you said, they got weapons, man. They got dudes. I mean, Kyle Pitts. I really hope he actually gets a quarterback, and I hope for the team and for the coach that comes in, they get a
Oh, it's going to
quarterback.
be dangerous.
But I'm telling you, Kyle Pitts, you know this. I'm a Gators fan. They haven't done that much, but I still pay attention to their team and their players. Dude, Kyle Pitts has the talent to be one of the best 5 tight ends in football, and it's not even close. Like
Easily,
it's not even close. He
easily.
could be top 3 because Kelsey's getting older, Kittle's getting older. Like you got Hawkinson, who's amazing. I know he has bad serious injury, but like Pitts' talent is unreal, bro. Like he is, you know what he reminds me of? And we're not gonna make any comments besides just the name. He reminds me of Aaron Hernandez. Like the dude, but he's like a receiver playing
I
tight
get
end.
you. I
Like
get
he
you.
just
I
like
get
running
you.
across the middle, like just the speed,
Here's
man. The
here's
speed
what
and
I'll
the
say.
athleticism.
Here's what I'll say.
Yep.
Laporta, Dalton Kincaid, Kyle Pitts, all under the age of 25. I think Kyle Pitts is only 22. He came out when he was 20.
Yeah.
Those 3 cats for fantasy football,
Oh yeah.
they're going to be
Oh, yeah.
very, very, very interesting. I really wish we had. That's a question we got when we get Tip back on. We got to ask him, man. Out of those 3 tight ends, man, how would you rank them? That's going to
Oh,
be a good one. But Kyle Pitts has generational type talent.
For a period of time, my fantasy football team name was Arthur Smith's Hates, Bijan, and Pitts. Like those are your first round. And the other thing that doesn't make any sense about that is you have guys on their first contracts. That is the time you're supposed to maximize this, pay them more money. You maximize them when they're on their rookie contracts. Like that is the stupidest part about it. These are guys, but for anyone who doesn't know, 3 drafts back to back, first round picks. Pitts, I don't know the exact. No, I think I do know the order. Pitts, London, Bijan, and none of them got the ball enough. None of them.
You could win a Super Bowl. You could. Yeah, I'm saying you could win a Super. I'm not trying to over exaggerate. Like with another receiver, and they actually had a legitimate quarterback with upside. That's why I think Justin Fields, being from Georgia, is going to be such an interesting path to follow because I don't see him coming back to Chicago. I just don't. So where he ends up going, maybe Pittsburgh, maybe Pittsburgh or Atlanta. But if I'm Atlanta, man, I pick up that phone. I really pick up that phone.
I understand why they didn't do it because they didn't want to be the one team, blah, blah, blah. Lamar Jackson. You could have made a you could have at least tried.
You could have had him.
But that's the thing.
You could have got him.
We talk about owners being greedy, right? Moving teams, right? But owners can also be, let's just call it the B word. They're afraid. They're pansies sometimes. They didn't want to rock the boat. They don't want to be like, well, no one else is going after him, so I don't want to be the guy that has to offer first-round picks. It's like, bro, Atlanta, you didn't have a freaking quarterback. Everybody knew that. Imagine Lamar on that team. Like, come on, man.
I would say the complement of pieces that Lamar Jackson would have in Atlanta, I would say are probably greater than the weapons he has in Baltimore right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
if you think about it,
Bijan is better than any. Bijan is better than any running back that they had, even when they were healthy.
Okay. Drake London. Who would you rather have, Drake London or Odell Beckham right now?
Well, I would take Flowers, I think, over Drake.
Okay, Flowers.
It's close.
It's close. Okay. You have Zay Flowers as your number 1, but who would you rather have as your number 2? Drake London or Odell? Odell, who can't even stay healthy.
Oh yeah, definitely London.
Mark Andrews over tight end over Kyle Pitts. Okay, but it's comparing apples and oranges. But I think, but anyway, we get the point. You put the listeners get the point. You put a good quarterback on this team. This team was winning 12 games.
Yeah, and I would never want to be anyone who roots for anyone to get fired because never do we want that. But sometimes you deserve it, man. Like that's just what it is. Let's call a spade a spade. Like Arthur Smith, you had those weapons. I don't even care the quarterback. Like they didn't get the ball enough. Those are your 3 first-round picks the last 3 years. Give them the ball. Give them targets. Give them opportunities. And you saw. Sorry, one last thing. Did you notice when Bijan Robinson had 20 or more touches they usually won.
Yeah.
That's
There's
not a coincidence.
Let's sum this up here for you, and then we'll get off the Atlanta Falcons, snotch here. There was a series of 5 plays. I literally watched Atlanta.
Mhm.
First play, 1st and 10, a jet sweep, but with Jonnu Smith, -2 yards. There was
Mhm.
another play, a draw play to another, not even Drake London, not Bijan. Bijan was on the bench. He
Algier
was not even in
probably.
the series.
Algier.
No, it wasn't even Algier. It was some other dude who's I don't even. It was like some 4th string receiver. Don't even know.
Okay.
Third,
Yep.
they do a run up the middle for 2 yards.
Mhm.
Algier. Okay, whatever. And then you punt. I'm like, Bijan wasn't even on the field. I don't get. You didn't need to draft Bijan. You didn't need to draft him. They could have gotten
No.
another receiver. Like
Mhm.
Algier's your number 1 running back, literally having 1,000 yards. You could have
Mhm.
gotten something else, but you decided to draft him with the 8th overall pick, and you
Mhm.
don't even use him. But anyway, I digress. We can sit here and talk about that all day
Yeah,
long.
let's be honest. Neither one of us are Falcons fans. Let's get up out of here. Enough with the Falcons.
Yeah, let's get out of it. Let's get out of it. Ben, since Mr. Legend's not here, let's start with you for sports topic of the week. Any topic?
Okay.
Let's have a little barbershop conversation here. Por favor.
Okay. So I got one. I got a good one, I think. We'll see. AFC quarterbacks, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, who's under more pressure to get it done and get one of these bad boys, get a ring? Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, who has more pressure to get it done, to get the whole thing, champion?
Okay, so fun little stat, right? I try not to get too caught up on the stats, but when you look at Josh Allen, for instance, out of 18 games, this was the 4th time in 18 games that he did not turn the ball over, Josh Allen. Out of 18 games, this was only the 4th time that he did not have a turnover. He, as we said before, the man has elite upside, but I do not think he's elite. There's a difference. Elite upside versus elite. Elite quarterbacks come through the moments and do not cost your teams games. Okay? Lamar Jackson, the contract, all of that, all the hype. For me, it has to be Lamar Jackson because of all the offseason drama. The last time they went 14, when they went 14-2, he won the MVP back in the 2019 season. They drop a dud against the Texans and lose. If you go and you drop a dud in this game after you flew across the country and beat down the 49ers, we're the favorite to go in the NFC. I think that this is, to me, it's Lamar Jackson, man. You got the big deal. You got the money. It's time to put up or shut up, man. What say you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat because, in the offseason, okay, let's get Lamar more weapons. Okay, check. You got Flowers, you got Aguilar, and Odell. Neither one of those are great, but it's better than what he had. So you got Flowers, so you got more weapons. You got an actual offensive coordinator that has actually called plays that are not, you improved your offensive coordinator for sure with Todd Monken. And Lamar got his money. So you got your contract, got much more, and has made Lamar better. Check. You got everything that you wanted. And as we stand here today on January 17th, I said it on the space. You were there, but a lot of people didn't hear it. Let's not get it twisted. Lamar Jackson is significantly better than Dak Prescott. It's like a whole nother stratosphere. It's not even a comparison. But if we're talking about specifically performance and only performance in the playoffs, although Dak has a longer sample size, has more games, Lamar is currently 1-3 in the playoffs. And, that is, and to your point, put up or shut up. So Lamar in the playoffs, we're talking about results, we're talking about performance. As of today, there's no difference playoffs between him and Dak. There just isn't. There isn't.
Listen, there's going to be off facts. When we talk about the quarterbacks that are in the upper echelon, we talk about guys where they deliver when it matters most, and you are ranked not by just regular season, but also playoffs. right? So we're
Mhm.
talking about the likes of it. So around 6 months from now, when the NFL season gets ready to start, and we start having guests, and we start talking about, okay, who are the top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2024 season, right? We always talk about that. It's a fun conversation. If Lamar Jackson wants to consistently be considered one of the top five, he has to deliver this year. Or I do not want to hear any conversation about Lamar
Mhm.
Jackson being one of the top three players in the NFL,
Because
one
let's
of
be
the top
honest,
three quarterbacks.
then he's basically the two quarterbacks that I just posed the question, Allen and Lamar. They're one and the same too. They'll get you a lot of wins. They'll get you a lot of stats. Comes to the playoffs, they ain't gonna get it done.
Right?
And
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 that's
and,
why
and bottom line, we teams, these coaches, they play to win, man. At the end of the day, you want that championship. That's why you play. So, like for me, the quarterback touching the ball every single play clearly has the most to do with the team's success or not on offense. If you can't win in the playoffs, you're basically useless. Like, what are you? You get me
and
there, but then you can't get done. So what's the
right
point? What are we doing here?
and and that's why, like, when we talk about like Dak Prescott, right? Like Stephen A. Smith made a very good point. You look at Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff. Yes, Matthew Stafford lost. They lost that game, but he wasn't the reason why they lost that game.
No,
You,
absolutely
you
not.
see what I'm saying?
Absolutely
Dak
not. Yeah.
Prescott, Dak Prescott was a major reason why they lost that game. Josh Allen is a major reason why they lose a lot of games. This was a team that
Mhm.
was 6-6,
Mhm.
had a 5% chance after week 12 to make the playoffs.
Mhm.
I just literally said that this was the fourth time out of his last 18 games where he did not turn the ball over.
Mhm.
Out of those four times, they won every single one of them.
Oh,
So,
whoa! Coincidence, huh?
I mean, I'm just saying,
Look at
we
that!
gotta stop.
And yes, I'm
We
being a
gotta
wise
stop
ass.
throwing
Clearly.
out. We just gotta stop. We gotta
Mm.
stop throwing out this word elite. We throw this word out. I feel like this past season, so many people have said the word elite. I'm like,
Mm.
elite is a very distinct class.
That's like a
Josh Allen is
tier
not
up
elite.
here. That's a
That's what
tier
I'm
up here.
saying.
You
Pat
gotta.
Mahomes, it's
Yeah. Go
right
ahead.
now
Go
it's just
ahead.
Pat Mahomes as elite. Pat Mahomes is elite. Okay. Even if he doesn't win, what he has over these other young quarterbacks is he has two Super Bowls and two Super
Mhm.
Bowl MVPs. So he has nothing left to prove. He didn't win it just once, but twice.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So
And even the Super
yes.
Bowl they got spanked by the Bucks. I mean, he's playing with like four third string linemen. Not even like
Yeah.
the backups. Like he had no
Yeah.
chance
And they
whatsoever. And
and
even
they
in
lost
that
an
game, he made some like amazing throws. Like just at
and they easily could have gone to the Super Bowl that 2018 season, but they lost in overtime to the Patriots. So
mm,
he could have,
yeah.
with the flip of a coin, he could have had three or four Super Bowls, but by a flip of a coin, he could have none. That's the way
Hmm.
football is. You gotta
Yeah.
love it.
For sure. For
Man,
sure. And it's just like Lamar's gotta now's the time, man. Because if not now, when? Now's the time.
I mean, facts. The sports topic I really want to throw out here is just this Mike Tomlin situation with quarterback, or just Mike Tomlin situation.
Mike
Okay,
Tomlin situation in general. Yeah, yeah.
just in general, because I'm conflicted about this one. I
Hmm.
really am. 3-8 in the playoffs, 5 one and done exits, four straight one and dones, 17 straight winning seasons. I get it, but still 3-8 in the playoffs, and he has not won a playoff game since they won the Super Bowl. So every playoff game that they've been in, they have lost. Okay, there are different franchises in sports. What he has for the Jaguars or the Cleveland Browns, oh, he'll be the coach for life. But when you're the
Hmm.
coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Yankees or the Boston Red Sox or the LA Lakers or the Boston Celtics, I think you get where I'm going with this, right? There are just certain teams where the expectation is to contend and win Super Bowls every single year. Now, I understand the Rooney situation, how they do things, but how they done things in the past doesn't mean that it's going to work now. Not saying Mike Tomlin should get fired, but the conversation and the critiques, I think, are very valid based on those numbers that I've thrown out in the postseason, and he has not produced in the postseason in years. So I throw the question to you. Your overall thoughts about it?
Yeah,
His
just
job, not go?
yeah, I mean the Steelers are like that's a franchise, man. Like they got a standard. Like 17
Exactly.
winning seasons in a row is an amazing accomplishment. Let's be honest. But like, what have you done for me lately? And okay, everyone can point to, well, he doesn't have a quarterback. Okay, fine. But like
You
at the end
drafted
of the
Kenny Pickett.
day, exactly. He wanted. I think there's rumors that he wanted Pickett. I'm pretty sure. I think I've read that. Wasn't just the GM and the personnel side. I think that Tomlin was a fan of Pickett too. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I read that. So yeah, Tomlin is like one of those things that's like, there's the cliche in sports, time for a new voice. Kind of reached that point because Tomlin is like unique, right? Because you had prime, it's like he underachieved and achieved. So he's like, you had prime Antonio Brown, probably the best receiver in the league at the time.
Oh,
Le'Veon Bell in his prime, probably top 3 running back, and you had Big Ben still in his prime. Those rosters were like 1,000% better than the Patriots rosters, and they always freaking lost. They always lost. Those rosters, if you look top to bottom, the Steelers with AB and Bell, those rosters and the Patriots rosters, the Steelers should have won almost every time, and they never freaking did.
And let's not forget, literally 3 years ago, this team started 11-0. They started 11-0. Like that was literally 3 years ago. And I remember they
Yeah.
lost against to Washington. I think that was during Thanksgiving, or maybe that was like the week before Thanksgiving. So you have that type of run, and like you're still falling short. Again, the reason why I'm conflicted is because like I'm a really big fan of Mike Tomlin, and I really think that the 17 winning seasons are good enough for another franchise, but not for the Steelers.
Not for the
The
Steelers,
standard
yeah.
is the standard, not for the Steelers. And people don't get that. They think, well, 17 winning seasons, or even back to your Cowboys, where someone said, oh, 3 straight 12-win seasons. I'm like, okay, that's great for another franchise, but that is
Yeah.
not great for the Cowboys or for the Steelers. They are different. They have different fan bases. They are legendary programs.
Yeah.
You
So
know, and I don't think that people
Tomlin
really realize that.
underachieved with those rosters, and lately he's overachieved with lesser rosters. So like it's kind of like it's a weird case where it's like when you had the amazing talent, you didn't get it done. And now that you have lesser talent, they're overperforming their expectations, but like you also like the receivers, like that's an issue, man. And that goes back to AB. Like, why are your receivers consistently acting this way?
I mean, I
Like,
remember the
like I just
2017. Yeah, no, and it's one of those things. So I know that we were going to do a couple other things, but because it's going to be a little bit challenging to probably maybe do those debates just because it's you and I. So
oh yeah,
I'm
let's
thinking
keep the
maybe we keep it
topics
to sports
going.
topics.
Keep
Okay.
the top.
So I want to throw one more if I can, and then I'll get to you. Where do you want
So
to go? Go ahead.
so I'm gonna go here.
Go ahead.
Let's. What do now that the Cowboys have seems like made their decision to keep McCarthy?
I'm just blown.
What do the Eagles do? Like, do you or do you go after this talent that's out there? The free agent head coaches is better than maybe it ever has been. You have so many big names out there and accomplished names, and it's tough because Sirianni, you just made the Super Bowl, but like I don't
Didn't
know,
win it.
man. There's got to be
They
some
didn't win it.
accountability, man. There has to
You
be.
know, like I get it. Like just making a Super Bowl doesn't necessarily like getting there. Okay, it's great, but if you're not first, you're last. So to me, losing the Super Bowl shouldn't give you like a badge of honor, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially when the game was that close and you could have won the game. Like if you were like, here's my thing. If you were like the Browns and you made a deep run and you went to the Super Bowl and you got straight demolished by the 49ers, Stephen Stefanski, I can't even be mad at you, bro, because you know what? That nobody think you were going to get there. So the fact that you even got there, it's all based on expectations, right?
Yeah.
So the expectation was, okay, now we're bringing back the same team. We're adding a couple other pieces. Let's go. But even when they were winning, we keep on forgetting, yes, they started 10-1, but that was an ugly 10-1.
Oh
They
yeah,
easily could have lost a couple
that
games,
should have been like 6-4, or
right?
whatever, like
So when I look
7-4, but same difference.
exactly. So for me, it's more than just about the 1-7. It's more than just about the 1-6 finish. It's about the ugly football that happened. It looks about
Hmm.
Mike Patricia coming down and calling defensive plays. It is the losing their coordinators. Those coordinators were huge. You
Hmm.
see what those coordinators are doing. The guy
Hmm.
at Arizona, like they were still
Arizona, yep.
competitive.
Oh yeah, they were
Okay,
competitive even
so
when they didn't have Kyler Murray.
exactly. So when I look at that, I wonder, okay, was that necessarily because of his coordinators, or was it because of him as the coach, and because some of the decisions that he made when he is like the guy with some concerns? And so honestly, I could support him getting fired and getting John Harbaugh.
Yeah, yeah. Harbaugh's that's the other thing with like storyline wise, Harbaugh and Belichick to me out of all the free agent coaches are the most intriguing to me because it's like Harbaugh clearly he won in the NFL, didn't get it done, but he made NFC championship games, made a Super Bowl. Then for a while it was the same in college. Couldn't get it done when it mattered the most, kept on losing in those playoffs. Like they didn't even make the championship. They lost in the semifinals, I think, like 3 years in a row of the CFP. Maybe it was two, but they didn't even make the championship till this year. Credit to them.
Yeah,
They got it done, got a championship. So now it's like, okay, well, you've won a championship in college. Clearly, you're still desire to go to the NFL because you've interviewed, and all of that jazz. And who doesn't want on their resume, I won a championship in college and I won a championship in the NFL? I think there's only two names. I think it's Jimmy Johnson, Pete Carroll. I think that's it. I think that's the
right.
list.
And right. So if you're thinking about that, right, Sirianni's been there for 3 years, didn't get it done, right? You got AJ Brown coming back, you got Devonta Smith coming back. I feel like Jalen Hurts wasn't his best because of that knee. That knee clearly was bothering him. He
Mhm.
comes back. If I'm the owner, I'm like, gee, Harbaugh has a better track record of success and a longer track record than
Mhm.
Sirianni, and I know that he's going to bring in a level of cachet and swagger and energy to the team that might be exciting. Okay, I change up my secondary, I change up a couple pieces, they could be back in it. So if I'm them, I only fire him unless I get John Harbaugh. That's the only way I would do it. I would not fire him just for some flashy assistant coach or coordinator.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think that, there comes a point in time where, there's a reason, for example, Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan are they're both great play callers. And that matters. You need coaches to put you in positions to succeed. Like part of Dallas's problem was they were extremely predictable. And they pretty much
What are you
always
telling?
have been. Like their offense is like boom, boom, boom. We run 1, 2, 3. That's the plays that we do. And it's like
Exactly.
that's one of their issues amongst a lot of their issues. But one of their
Facts,
issues is their predictability. Gary Johnson,
right?
welcome,
And
sir. How
Gary,
you doing?
but but first, you know where I'm gonna go, Larry, Gary Legend. You were on TV, sir. Care to
I was,
share?
yes.
That was why you were in LA a couple months ago.
That is exactly why I was in LA a couple
Okay,
months
so
ago. So
please
I
share.
couldn't
This is
talk about
exciting.
it.
It's all
Um,
good, but just please share. This is great.
so yeah, just real quick, the game show 25 Words or Less, hosted by Meredith Vieira. For people that may not know, she was on The View, did all other 60 Minutes, all this other stuff over the years. So I was on it, and that's why I traveled back out to LA back in May. Because of the strike and all this other stuff, the show was supposed to originally air in November, but got pushed back to today. And it's episodes. So fortunately, if you miss me today, you'll see me tomorrow as well. Same time. Check your local
Okay.
listings.
Okay, good stuff, man. Happy
That's
for you, man.
awesome.
Happy.
That's
That's pretty
awesome.
cool,
That's
man.
awesome,
Thank
man. That's an accomplishment. That's an
Cool.
accomplishment.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But let's get
thank you.
your just high level, and we got to get to this debate. We got to try at least one. But first, just got to get just real quick your one or two takeaways from the NFC wild card, and like just your thoughts on Mike McCarthy coming back. Like I just want to give you 3 minutes because I know you're going to bring the humor, you're going to bring the fun. It's all on you, buddy. You got 3 to 4. You know what? Take it away.
Now, clearly, I'm a Giants fan, so there are no dogs in this race as far as the NFC goes. But this weekend, as a Giants fan, brought me so much joy. Like I said to you guys, it was like hugging a puppy. Like it was very like warm and fuzzy feelings on the inside. It was because originally it was because of Dallas, because Dallas did what Dallas does. Come January. And I have a whole thing about them bringing back the Elvis impersonator, but I'll come back to that later. And then we were like, hey, Dallas lost. Okay, yeah, Philly should beat Tampa Bay. And then they don't. They let Baker Mayfield play like he was actually the number one pick in the draft. And it's just, yes, not again. Yes, it was a great weekend. This is actually a very delightful weekend because you had these two teams just fighting tooth and nail for the division title, and there's absolutely nothing to show for it on either side. There's now far more questions than answers, although we got a question as far as Dallas is concerned by keeping Mike McCarthy. Okay, sure. Risky move, but why not? But with Philly, now you're starting to see. This is what I love about sports, and this is what I love about football. Because now you're starting to hear the stories of, oh, this person didn't like this, or this person, the infighting, but you can see it. You can see, especially with the Eagles, like they were beat up. They were running on empty, and they ran into a Tampa Bay team that literally had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Facts.
Gary,
No doubt.
any other takeaways from Wild Card Weekend? AFC, NFC, anything?
I'm gonna have everybody exercise caution with the Green Bay Packers because I've heard some wildness about, hey, they could possibly make the Super Bowl. Pump every brake that you got. Pump every single brake that y'all got.
Although, how funny would it be the first year without Aaron Rodgers? They make the NFC Championship game. That would be pretty funny.
I mean, you can't script that any better if that's the case. But I think now,
talk about a franchise been lucky.
Yeah, but
the Niners are something else, man.
The Niners
they're a whole nother level.
This weekend has kind of rolled the red carpet for the Niners because the two teams that we said could be in that class with them as far as being a representative for the NFC in the Super Bowl, two of them are gone. So at this point, if San Francisco fails to make the Super Bowl, then we're going to start pointing the finger and start looking at them. Because I love Detroit, and I'm personally rooting for Detroit. I feel like their story is just it's the feel good story that you want to see. But I don't trust them. I don't trust Green Bay, and I certainly don't trust Tampa Bay. So, it's like if it's not Detroit, San Francisco's got the red carpet straight to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy that I learned recently, and I've said it a lot. But while it's still true, I have to say it. While it's still true, because it might not be true in a couple weeks. But the Niners Super Bowl drought of winning is 1 year longer than Dallas. Going by like when the Super Bowl was played, it was January 96 for Dallas and January 95 for the Niners. So as far as winning the Super Bowl, their drought is longer. Now, granted, they have had much, much more playoff success lately. NFC Championship games, Super Bowls.
It's like two Super Bowl appearances in that time period, though.
Okay.
But if you don't win, what did you do better than Dallas?
And let's bring this all in because I know we want to get at 9:20 Eastern. We want to get to the two battles. But Gary, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about a sports topic of the week, and then we'll get right at 9:20. Sound good, Ben?
Yeah, go for it, Gary. Bring something
cool.
up.
What is your sports topic? Sports topic of the week: barbershop talk. I'm bald. I don't go to the barber, but y'all do.
Really, like the talk of the week is Mike McCarthy and how he sold. I don't know what deal he made with the devil, but all power to him because this team, which has been the constant overachievers of or underachievers of doing well in the regular season. Like, listen, I get what Jerry Jones is saying. 3 straight years of 12 wins. Winning 36 games in the NFL in that span is very difficult. But much like every single coach since Barry Switzer, the result has been the same. There is no parade in Dallas. There's no extra Lombardi trophy to show for it. And I get it. On the Jerry Jones side of it, you just want that. You want a whipping boy. You want somebody that's not going to give you static back, but that not giving you static is not giving you a championship either.
That's and Ben, you and I, we talked about it before you got on here. I mean, it is not for that team. Winning 3 straight 12 wins is not good enough for the Dallas Cowboys, for that franchise, right? Just winning for Mike Tomlin.
Jerry Jones is accepting mediocrity.
At this point,
that's what you're doing. You're saying, you know what? Let's be relevant. Let's be on national TV. We're the most expensive franchise in the entire world. We're talked about all the time. We dominate the headlines. And then guess what? We don't win in January. But we're still on TV more than anybody else. There's more eyeballs on us. We're talked about more than anybody else. It's like you're showing with your actions you actually care about attention. You're not winning. Winning isn't the end all and be all. I love the attention.
He's obsessed with the brand. Mm-hmm. Because like we say it in in the sports, like Dallas Cowboys brand, New York Yankees brand, Los Angeles Lakers brand. Like, they're going to succeed in spite of themselves because they have been built into or woven into the fabric of Americana. Like, that's just so they're in that weird space of like, Jerry Jones is going to make money no matter what he does. They can go 0-17 next season. They're still going to be the most expensive franchise in North America of the 4 major sports. That's not changing at all. And that's the crying shame of it. And you look at, like I said, I jokingly said to you guys before, just because you induct Jimmy Johnson into your Ring of Honor does not mean you reverse the curse.
That was a whole bunch of BS. That was such BS.
They were trying to break the curse.
There was no curse. There's no reversing a curse that didn't exist. That was the dumbest thing that I ever That was so dumb.
You can't just induct Jimmy Johnson in your Ring of Honor. You got to go apologize to Tom Landry's family. You got to go apologize to Emmitt Smith for trading him. You got to apologize to Michael Irvin for kicking him to the side once he got injured and retired. There's a lot of things that you got to do to get right, and I think time is not on Brother Jerry's side at this point.
No, not at all. Okay. Not at all.
All right. Well, let's get this. This has been fun. Let's get to some of these sports topics, shall we? So, as for anyone that wasn't on the episode last week or hasn't watched, we have added a new battle segment here, and I'm very excited about it. So, essentially, I'm gonna go first, give the sports topic, and then I'm gonna do 2 minutes debate. I'll count down to 10 seconds. And then Gary, you have 2 minutes to debate, and then
I got the timing down. We got the timing.
Why don't you use my clock, or I can just use my time clock right here.
Whatever you want to do, homie. Go use the time clock.
I'll do that. That'll make it easy. Is that okay, Ben?
I want you to be happy, Jeff. I want you to be happy.
Okay. I'm not crying. I promise. Just put my eye. No.
All right. What are me and Gary debating? Let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. All right, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is cut, and he is going to go to a new team. What would be the best fit for him, and why? Okay.
Russell Wilson is cut, and best fit.
Yeah, he's cut. He's bye-bye. There's a lot of teams that need quarterbacks. A lot of teams. No, matter of fact, no. I'm gonna change it up. No, Justin Fields. It's gonna be a little more exciting. Justin Fields gets traded. What is the best fit for Justin Fields and why? How about that? That's a little more exciting. A little more exciting?
Yeah.
Does that excite you, Russell Wilson?
A little bit better than talking about Russell Wilson.
Okay. All right. Let's do Justin Fields. I literally just thought this from my head. Okay. All right, and Ben, and you can go now. 2 minutes.
So it's one of those things that there are offenses that are tailor made for his skill set, or should be tailor made for his skill set. And comes to mind of like, Lamar, let's say pre this year, before Todd Monken. Lamar was running it more. There were more designed runs. And, that obviously puts the quarterback at risk. We understand that. But there's a skill set that works with certain players. And if you get the right coaches and the right play, that matters. And Atlanta is ready. They are ready. Like they got talent. They got two good running backs, possibly great running backs, and Bijan. Bijan was excellent in college. You have Kyle Pitts, whose talent alone is top 5 in the entire league, and top 5 in the entire league at tight end, possibly top 3. Drake London is really good. And you had a coach this year, Arthur Smith, who just didn't believe in getting his 3 first-round picks the ball, not consistently. Think about it. Jonnu Smith had more targets than Kyle Pitts. Like you almost deserve to be fired just upon that basis, just upon that. But let's go back to Justin Fields. That's the topic. Justin Fields in Atlanta is a good fit. Their offense is ready. Their offensive line is good. I wouldn't say great, but their offensive line is good. Their defense is also good. They got that safety from Cincinnati, Jesse Bates. And let's be honest, the NFC South the last 2 years, Tampa Bay won 8-9. Tampa Bay won 9-8. So the division is not strong. So I'm going to go Atlanta.
Okay. All right, Gary Legend, are you ready?
I'm going to first.
5,
Yeah, go ahead.
4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
I'm going to answer your first question by saying that Russell Wilson should be coming to loving arms of our friends here in East Rutherford. Come to us. Come on. Because we don't, in sidebar, because we don't know what we're getting with Daniel Jones when the season starts, but you know what you're getting with Russell Wilson. Sidebar. All right, so we're done with that. Justin Fields. Ben, you took the team that I was going to pick for the very reasons that I was going to pick too.
No, you can make the argument for the same team. It's fine. You don't have to pick a new team.
No, you literally just. But I want to think about this. Where else could he go? Where else is going to make sense? I'm going to throw a wild card team out there just to put out there on your radar. I'm going to throw out the Indianapolis Colts, and the reason why I throw them out there is because for the very same reason that they have the same. I won't say the same pieces that they have in Atlanta, but I think they have enough of a veteran locker room that will cover up a lot of the mistakes that he is going to make, has made, and he also does not need to have the spotlight shine on him so brightly. Chicago, even though it's the Bears and they've had down years as of late, it's still a big market team, a big market franchise, so there's always going to be a spotlight on him. We could say the Giants are, have him be a backup for Aaron Rodgers, but it's the same thing. Big market. He's going to shrink in that market. It's not for everybody. He needs a mid-sized market to thrive in with very low expectations. And again, you just said for the NFC South, it's a winnable division. We just saw Houston make that ascent into division winners and everything. And, we don't know what we're getting with Anthony Richardson. I know Nigel's getting to mention him. I don't know what we're getting from him, but you know what you're getting from Justin Fields. And on that franchise, they could be competitive in the AFC South.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. All right, Benjamin Flannel. I don't know why I call you Flannel. Anyway, I don't even know, but whatever. All right, ready, set, go.
Yeah, so the Colts that's a good option, but Michael Pittman is not guaranteed to be there next year. Depends upon how much money they want to pay him, or if they want to pay him, what his market's going to be. So and behind him, they got some okay receivers, but if you lose Pittman, that offense goes to pretty much trash. And Jonathan Taylor, is really good, but yeah, no, I can't see Indy. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, Gary.
No, and you're absolutely right. But the one thing that Chicago has failed to do with Justin Fields is truly build around him. He's kind of been this one shining star with a bunch of who's and where they froms and whatnot. And really, with Indy, you have Jim Irsay, who, if his health is okay, he's desperate to win. I know Chicago does as well, but he's more desperate to win. He'd be willing to spend with a decent quarterback.
Okay. So for me, I like to go based on the merits of the argument. So here's what I'm going to say. Indianapolis Colts are very, very, very interesting. But I believe like ownership with that Jim Irsay situation is going to be very interesting because he overdosed, I guess, allegedly. There's just something not right in that. There's just something not right with Jim Irsay and that ownership group. There's just something about him. Something's just not right there, and I would hate for him to go there. And Atlanta, I think, makes the most perfect fit. He's from Georgia. He's an Atlanta kid, or maybe not Atlanta kid, but you get the point. And he almost played at Georgia before transferring to Ohio State. So I'm going to have to go with Ben slightly just because I think the Jim Irsay situation is just a little bit. But nice try with that one.
Let's be honest. For that debate, going first was an advantage.
It really was. I'm like, you literally laid out
that's what it was.
Everything that I was going to say. I'm like, shit. Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's do this one and let's get to Gary Squares.
Let's keep it going. Gary, me versus Jeff. Gary, what are we debating?
Okay, gentlemen. You are one William Stephen Belichick. And you have the lay of the NFC land, or the NFL land in front of you. We know the teams that are available. We know now Dallas is off the table. We're going to leave Philly on the table just because they have not made any commitments to Nick Sirianni yet.
Yeah, we got to go with current head coach openings.
Current head coach openings plus Philly. I'm going to put Philly out there because again, we don't know for sure. But if I'm Philly, that's somebody. That's a place somebody I would consider. So, gentlemen, what is the best available team for Bill Belichick that's going to be the best fit?
I believe Ben, I go first for that one.
Yes, Jeff. Jeff, you start first.
Yeah. Let me know
Jeff,
when to go.
Yeah, Jeff, I got you covered. Go now. I got you. Go.
If I'm Bill Belichick, I'm trying to get 15 more wins. 1, I'm trying to prove that I can win another championship outside of New England. 2, I'm trying to find the fastest way there. 3, I'm 72 years old and I really don't have much time left. So what can I do within a span of 3 years to be able to maximize the most of my opportunity? That is going to be Philly, a team that literally just went to the Super Bowl, a team that's in arguably a very winnable division still, despite the Cowboys winning the division. We don't necessarily have a lot of confidence in Washington and for the Giants, sorry, Gary, as far as them being viable. They still started 10-1 last year. Jalen Hurts is still young. You have a contract extension. He's there cemented. A.J. Brown comes back. Devontae Smith comes back. Yes, the offensive line needs to get improved a little bit. The secondary is a little bit old, but if you plug and play with a couple of draft picks, you can turn things around. For me to get all 3 of those things, one more Super Bowl, and as well as get the 15 wins to beat Don Shula, I feel the Eagles are going to do that, and they are just a very sound organization over the Chargers and over Atlanta, because Atlanta, we don't know what their quarterback situation, and you need that. So the Eagles.
Okay. Very good. Ben?
I'm going to go in 5 seconds to make it easy for myself. 9:33 exactly. And we go. So I'm going to go Seattle. And it has a lot to do with culture, and it has a lot to do with there are not similarities in coaching style, because Carroll and Belichick couldn't be more opposite as far as coaching style, but they both are really successful and they both know what they're doing. And ownership and personnel people matter. And Seattle drafts really, really, really well. The picks that they got in the Russell Wilson trade, not only did they get the quarterback who arguably has played either the same or better than Russell Wilson, but that's a story for another day. The draft picks that they used those guys not only play, they're starters and they play really well. Cross, the big offensive lineman they got, and Witherspoon on defense, cornerback. I can't remember his first name. So Seattle has a specific culture and it's not like the Steelers standard, but Seattle in the Pete Carroll era has a standard. And the standard is they're always good. Might not be great, but they're good. So you got, and the home field advantage is real. The 12th man thing, we know that. 13th man, sorry. No, it is 12th, 11. Anyways, ownership matters and the personnel matters. And on offense, you got Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet at running back. You got DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Lockett. I don't know his contract situation. Maybe he's there, maybe he's not. But at worst, you have DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith-Njigba and the 2 running backs. And on defense, you got an above-average defense, and Belichick's specialty is defense. So he could possibly elevate that defense from, let's say, top 15-ish into like top 5, maybe top 10. So Seattle makes sense for me, and I am out of time.
All right, ready whenever you
Very
are.
good. Jeff, rebuttal.
Jeff, you got 30 seconds now. Go.
Yeah, Seattle has 7 picks. They don't pick until the 16th round, so the quarterback situation is very, very suspect. You don't trust Geno Smith. I'm going to trust Jalen Hurts, a guy that took a team to the Super Bowl, almost won the Super Bowl, still started 10-1. I still like the weapons from an upside perspective as far as DeAndre Swift, and as well as Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman, and as well as A.J. Brown, who had 7 consecutive 100-yard receiving games. I like the upside of the receiving core of Philly over Seattle.
I like it. And I'm going to go now. So I got 9:36, 15 seconds. Anyways, so here's I'm going to go another way in my last 30 seconds. I don't think the Eagles' job is going to be open. And if the job's not open, he can't take the job. So, yes, what you're saying makes perfect sense. They have a roster. They just made the Super Bowl last year. But Jeffrey Lurie is patient somewhat. And I just don't think that head coach job is going to be available. And we have the Seahawks job available, who is a really good roster, a really good team. All right, I'm out of time.
Point of information, Gary, before you decide, didn't you say that the Eagles position was going to be open? So we're going to say in technicality based on if that job was open. So the measurement should be based on that. So hypothetical if it was open. Isn't that right, Gary?
Yes, but will it be open?
Hypothetical. So
but
in hypothetical and a hypothetical debate. This is a hypothetical debate. So in hypothetical, the Eagles are open. So you can't use that against.
Anyways, we're not judging ourselves. Gary's judging. Gary's judging.
So, first of all, I personally think the correct answer would be Washington for my own personal reasons. I think, when you consider the ownership, the management group that's there, they need an established winner. It's kind of similar to when Vince Lombardi came to Washington in the early 70s before he passed. It was a matter of trying to establish reestablish the brand as a powerhouse and as a name. So, in my opinion, I look at Washington as an option. However, for the sake of this argument, I'm actually going to lean towards Seattle. I think for the points that Ben made, that team is young, it's hungry. They're if you don't trust Geno Smith to get you to the promised land, that's fine. But Bill Belichick can get that team to the promised land. And frankly, I don't want to see Bill Belichick in the NFC East at all if he's not a Giant. So
Okay, that's fair. Okay, cool. Hey, I'll take
Ben
that.
goes 2-0. I'll take 2-0.
There's collusion. That's okay. I'll be back next week. But I don't know what y'all got going on.
Collusion sounds like a convenient excuse.
Anyway, but anywho, let's. I do have a gathering after. Let's get to Gary's gripes and let's call it.
Let's do it.
So it's a really simple question that I kind of want to pose to the two of you. How bad do the Detroit Pistons intend on being? Because for as good as you have Michigan winning the national championship, the Lions are one of their first playoff game in 32 years. The Red Wings are starting to be relevant. Nobody really cares about the Tigers too much, but the Pistons, like Detroit, has a very rich history with basketball. You look at how proud that franchise once was. The hell is this? Like, I don't even like. This is just a level of bad basketball that has not been seen since my childhood. And I
Let's
don't
be
even
clear.
understand how.
Their record is 4 wins, 37 losses.
And they just got to
That-
win. They
And
just got their 4th win against a 6-win Washington Wizards team. Like, it's just
Yeah.
like.
And by the way, 4-37 works out to be less than 10%. This is, to be exact, is 9.8%.
Yeah.
So 90% of the time they lose.
There's an entire possibility that they could surpass, I believe it was the 2010, 2011 pre-Hornet Charlotte Bobcats. I think they won 7 games, and they have the worst winning percentage in NBA history. And this team is easily flirting with that.
I mean, 4-37 is what? 41 games? That's exactly half.
Mhm.
So what if they go 6-35? 6-35.
Like if you're Monty Williams, do you want to keep that job? Like Monty Williams, I don't really feel bad for him honestly because the man has $70 million guaranteed in the bag no matter what. But damn, do you just hope they fire you? Like that's what you want. You want them to
He
just fire
deserves
you
better.
so you don't. Yeah, like that's just 6 years, $72 million is a lot of money to pay, Cat. And I'm like, it's embarrassing. All I'm gonna say is it's embarrassing. It's sad and it's absolutely pathetic of how many lottery picks they have on that team and just how bad they are. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't even be allowed to play.
They
anymore.
should be better. Let's be clear. On their roster,
Jay
they
Cunningham
should
is
be
not
better.
as strong. They
And-
should be good enough. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, and you look at that roster, you look at that coaching. Like this was a team that, when the season started, we looked at them and went, "That's somebody that could be fighting for on the final play-in spots." Like,
Yeah, that
I'm not-
9-10
they're not-
spot. Yeah.
yeah, they should be fighting for 9th or 10th. Right now, they're fighting for 9 or 10 wins total.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. It's worse than the Cowboys collapse, and that's hard to do.
By far.
And that's hard to do because that was pretty bad. So
Yeah, but anywho, it has been fun, guys. It's been a good conversation. I've enjoyed all of this. This has been fun. We'll definitely have to do it again. And the Lakers, we'll see. They're up against Dallas right now at halftime by 2. They'll probably lose. But anyway,
speaking of the 10 spot, they are currently in the 10 spot. The LA Lakers.
Yeah, we'll talk about Lakers next week. We got to talk about them next week because, boy,
Yes,
I
we
got some
do.
stuff I want to talk about. But all right, folks, until next time, peace and love. Deuces, we're out.